Thank you. In 2009, I was at a conference in Chicago. And I still remember sitting there in a breakout area, discussing with many other people who were available there. And at some point, we were introduced to a very unique lady, a wonderful young woman called Catherine Kirk from Australia. And she had a unique story to tell. And that really set me on the path of looking, so what do we mean with leadership? So what was the unique story? Catherine Kirk is daughter to two parents who are from London, UK, who decided that they wanted to be missionaries with the Aboriginal tribe. So as a young child, she had the opportunity to spend 12 years living, being part of an Aboriginal tribe as a Westerling, as from the Western society. And that gave her a unique perspective on things. After those 12 years, she was sent away from the tribe, and she was cast in the Western society. So she had to learn new things. So far, everything was about survival. The tribe is very much about survival, nothing else. And then she was cast away from what she experienced as her life. And then she entered a classroom for the first time. A classroom very similar to this room. And the way that she described it was, so there was this room, and there were all these children sitting, and then there was this adult speaking, and speaking, and there was this door, and it's open, and the children keep sitting there, and why? So she has this gift of a unique perspective and amazement of how things work. So I would dare to say that was the moment for me in 2009, meeting Catherine Kirk. So she described how tribes work. And the way that we, in general, think about tribes is wrong. And she's actually the only one who actually knows how it really works because she's been there and is able to speak about it. The thing is that tribes don't have a leader. They are leaderless. They do have elders. And because the goal of a tribe is nothing else than to survive, they have a unique goal. They have an agreement about what the goal is. Because if you don't agree, well, you don't survive. And they have elders. Now the elders are not leaders. They don't decide what the group does. But the group does listen to what the elders have to say. And it's the way that they convey information is by telling stories. And then people listen to these stories and draw their own conclusions. And you know what? If you don't agree with the way the tribe is going, you decide to go another direction than the tribe, and everything's fine. And you just split off. If you later find out you're wrong, and you want to join the tribe again, that's absolutely possible, no problem whatsoever. And the whole tribe celebrates it because you come back and you have a new experience. So you've failed, you've learned, great. Now we can all learn about this. So this is a unique way of organizing that we're here not as familiar with. Why do I tell about this? Well, the thing is that I dream of leaderless organizations. However, I dream about societies and organizations where everyone has leadership skills. So now, if we look at leaders and managers, leaders are the guardians of the future. They inspire. They induce change in organizations. And on the other end, we have managers. They're the guardians of process. They plan, organize, coordinate. And they are the guardians of the status quo. They make sure that everything stays the same. So the guardians of the future are responsible for having the visions about the future. Not just one vision, multiple visions. And also be aware of all the unknowns that are in front of us. Not just one, multiple. And create options for each of those possibilities. They are also looking out for and trying to create new risks and new opportunities. And they prepare the rest of the organization, and they help us by learning how we can deal with those kind of situations and give us the time to react when change occurs. The guardians of the processes facilitate the whole process of creating the process. They make sure that when there's a failure in the process, they spot it and make sure we don't go in that direction. Now, there's risks and opportunities again, but this time a manager is there to guard, is actually to monitor them and see if they change and make sure that we do something with it. And then lastly, the guardians of the process, the managers, prevent gambling of the system, of gaming of the system. When Niels was having his presentation and says, well, no more managers, I was like, okay, we'll have a nice discussion because I think we do need managers. We'll have that discussion later. So, Obama, would we agree that that's a leader? Okay, audience participation. I know that I can't hear the web streams, I can hear you. So, is Obama a leader?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, we can. So, Obama is a leader. Now, how did he get elected? Was it purely through leadership skills? Money is a great one factor, of course. But that everybody had money. Now the thing is that you need management and you need managers. He had a campaign manager who made sure that all the buses and the press were at the right place at the right time. He also made sure that the whole people are not being called multiple times in the same night to raise money. So we do need managers. We do need people watching the process. Now I think many of you have seen this video. The dancing guy. If you haven't, look on YouTube, type in dancing guy, great learning lessons. So this is a way of looking at leadership, because there's managers, there's leaders, but we're very much more looking towards leadership. Now, I had this realization, in my spare time, I'm the group commander of a K9 search and rescue team. Officially, the hierarchy is very strict and formal, it's very clear, I'm the leader, my word is law. So what does it have to do with managing and leading? Well, the funny thing is that although I am the manager of the team, we have multiple leaders in the team. Within the team, we have policemen, firemen, construction engineers, nurse of more than 20 years. I would be foolish not to use them in their leadership role. So it is my role as a group commander, as the manager, to make sure that the right person leads at the right time. This is, of course, true when we want to reach this goal. If we want to reach an organization where everybody has leadership skills, we need to develop those leadership skills. And it's the role of the managers to make sure that it happens. So therefore, the title is somewhat off. Erwin just explained to me, just before we started here, that when he received my email with the title, he thought it was wrong. Manage a change and lead the status quo, which is odd, and then he copied it and still thought it was odd. But it is actually what I think that we need to do. We need to use managers to accelerate the change. They need to guard the whole process of making these changes. And then the leaders need to make sure that they lead the status quo, in the sense that they raise everybody up to the same level until they're at the status quo. Although at that point they lose their role as leader from that perspective, they can then start having new goals. So, we need more leadership, we need less leaders in that sense. Now, back to the classroom example. Very similar to the room that Catherine was in. So can you imagine you coming in from a tribe environment, being unfamiliar with this kind of a setting, and then being in a situation that you're sitting there and you see that the way that we organize it is ineffective, but the door is there. I know that every now and then you feel that way. You're in a situation where it's ineffective, and you see where the solution is, but you cannot get everybody with you. So in that situation with Catherine, what did happen? Well, she went out, of course. That's the logical thing to do. But then she gets punished for not staying with the status quo. So this is what we do with leaders. We say that we appreciate leadership, but as soon as somebody does something that's against a status quo, we have penalties. So, what I would like you to do is just imagine that you're back at your organization on Monday. Let me ask you this. Do you know who the manager is in that situation? Audience participation? Yes? Okay. Just pick one out. We'll get back to that person. Do you know who the leaders are? Okay, cool. Is everybody a leader? Oh, cool. Okay, also a good one. Okay. Now, what I would like you to think about is, when you look at that manager, what process does that manager guard? As we said, managers guard processes. So there's a particular process that he guards. What process is it? And if you look at the leader, where is that leader leading you towards to? I would like to thank you very much.